I don't know that I'd use the word excited. Again, they look at these markets, and anyone has also felt the pain of what's it been like to kind of not play this market.
What's one of the, I guess, biggest tail risks you see to these markets? Is one, I've been thinking a lot about this lately. What if the Fed doesn't aggressively cut rates next year? What if suddenly we really start to worry about the U.S. debt situation and yields go up? I got a lot of worries in my head.
Obviously, like I said, the list of concerns is pretty long, geopolitical, et cetera. But I think the policy one is a big one because, I don't know, when I went to school, things around, watching rates go up as high as they did, or cuts of what we saw with inflation, these things would have been kind of Armageddon type of situations.
That's true.
So it's hard to look at today and say, well, the yield curve gets inverted. Like, okay, are you supposed to care about that today? Okay, you look at debt and balance sheets today. Well, are we supposed to care about that? What about modern monetary theory? All these things that, again, the old models don't necessarily apply anymore, right?
Well, why do you think that's the case?
Partly I think is demographic. I think the economy has become a lot more global than it was, 10, 20, 30 years ago. I think demographics have changed as well. I think technology plays a part in all of this. And also, I think governments have played a broader part in these kind of quote unquote free markets. So there's a whole host of things that I think are slightly different and more engaging that has kind of changed that narrative.
Well, AI, do you view AI, I imagine it's going to change how you build a portfolio. Will it cause unnecessary risks in the market, like overcrowding in, let's say, the Mag 7 or other parts of the market? Because everybody's in the same trade or being told by this bot that they need to be in it.
I think like every technological advancement, including the internet, TV, radio, these are all things that have brought through disruption, right? You can go back and read articles and stories around when factories were kind of coming in place and people literally doing sabotage because it was threatening in terms to the employee force. So I think there's no question that, whether it's ethical parts of it, socioeconomic issues around this, there's a moment here where there's some disruption and adjustment. But what's happened with every other kind of advancements we have is there've been better outcomes. There's been better quality of life for society coming out at the other end. I truly believe this is another one of those things, yet where, I forget how many years the radio, the TV took with hundreds. Now you're dealing in months, years, weeks. It's just the adoption of change is that much quicker.
How is AI changing what you do internally in terms of running a financial services organization?
What's amazing about AI is just the speed of adoption and change, right? Meaning, I feel like every month it's changing how we're using AI and what we're doing with it. But what is no longer a debate is the AI is going to be transformative for our global economy and planet overall. I think what's also very clear is if you believe that to be true, which by the way, before was a question mark around what is this AI, how quickly is it going to come? If you believe that to be true, then you also have to believe the firms who can invest in this are going to be the firms of tomorrow. So you're seeing our entire dynamics. You're seeing a lot of consolidation in the industry, all of it driven towards this is the new tip of the spear. And it's hard to, it starts with, I can read documents a lot quicker than I did before. I can be more productive, to all of a sudden, am I adding more value add type of activities in terms of our ability to kind of decipher between two securities or ability to hire talent in a better way. But again, what is amazing, right? I didn't even know what a digital employee was until I joined this firm.
I love they're now called.
Yeah, we have over 100, and I'm sure it'll be 10x that in the next year or two. But these things sound a little hokey and weird, and then you experience it and you go, wow, this is real value. This is going to be transformative. It's an opportunity, it's a threat, it's a challenge, all wrapped up together.
How will these digital employees change the business of managing people's money?
What I believe is that people using AI, just like people using technology and agents or whatever you want to call it, are going to be better than people not using it, right? So it makes the process, like a lot of different things, more efficient. And if you make it more efficient, you optimize the outcome, right? This is not just about cost cutting. The ability that you can process information better, you can hire people easier, you can see more than you saw before, should lead to better decisions.
When you talk to clients and you're traveling around, what makes them so excited to own stocks at these higher valuations?
Well, I don't know that I'd use the word excited. Again, they look at these markets, and anyone has also felt the pain of what's it been like to kind of not play this market, right? Like I think it's it's a very risky thing to say, I'm going to be risk off. What does that really mean? I think these markets have taught us, no, as an investor, you need to be risk on all the time. Now, the real question is, how are you mitigating or how are you diversifying your portfolio? How are you thinking about outcomes? So I think that thinking from clients, it was just around like, are you going to put me in large cap, mid caps?
What 7 stocks known as Mag 7?
Yeah, the Mag 7 versus now the real conversation from clients is more and more around outcomes and say, look, I know I'm going to be invested, but help me protect myself with these different situations, or here are the outcomes I'm looking to generate.
How could someone begin their investing journey? Let's say that they're early 20s, they have heard that, wow, the stock market is at records, I can get rich too. Like, what should they even do today?
Being in this industry, obviously I get a lot of friends asking me that question,
Sure.
And you said that word, it's like, a lot of times the question is coming from like, how do I get rich doing this? Or heck, I remember sitting in business school when people were day trading during class, right? That was a whole thing. That is not what I tell people and folks, right? It's not a get rich thing. Again, when you asked me about alternatives before, I'm like, it's not about outsized returns. In some cases, some of the best opportunities are there, like 4% return driven strategies. It's to tell people, you have to think about now your outcomes and your retirement. And by the way, a lot of this is tied to being part of this growing economy, right? I often say, well, should I get in or out of the markets? I'm like, well, getting out of the markets, if you are right over the long term, I don't think it matters I don't think cash or gold are going to help you in a world where in the next 10, 20, 30 years, the markets don't kind of materialize. That's right. It's society. It's how we build. So for me, it's telling people, like I tell my kids, go invest in your 401k, put in the max, they tell you, be diversified. It's not about large cap, mid cap. It's not about the Mag 7 or these other things. It's about just kind of be in that market and then understand the outcomes that like being in the market get you and the different options that are affordable to you.